With me, Jason Dacey, weekend mornings here on MoneyFM 89.3. We're always complaining about service standards in the Singapore hospitality industry, especially if we're out and about at restaurants and cafes. Maybe we got someone here in the studio to shed some light on the best way to recruit good service people. He's Andrew Chan, hospitality industry expert, who's the founder and CEO of ACI HR Solutions. Welcome to MoneyFM.
Thank you, Jason.
It's an interesting subject, isn't it? I should explain that you're Chinese ethnically, but you were born in Sydney. You have offices in Sydney, Singapore, and Hong Kong. You've been a Singapore PR for a long time. Tell us a bit about what your company does.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So essentially we're an executive search recruitment firm focusing on the travel and hospitality sector. And I've been up here for about 14 years. My background is in airlines and hotels myself, so it's very passionate travel and tourism guy.
Wow, yeah, you three of the lovely cities that I love, with Sydney, my hometown, and also Hong Kong. I'm married to a Hong Kong lady, and Singapore, I've been here almost as long as you have. So when you assess the way things are in the service industry in Singapore compared to Hong Kong and Sydney, what would you say?
Look, it is a hot topic, and I think, if you speak to a lot of people, on the street about customer service in Singapore, there's certainly areas that can be improved. And it's probably generally viewed a little bit more towards the negative than the positive. I don't want to be too harsh, but there are certainly areas that probably can be improved.
Well, let's talk about the good first. We love flying Singapore Airlines. We love the 5-star hotels here in Singapore. I mean, Singapore's known for the quality in those areas.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just saying that before off air that it's easy to blame it from a cultural perspective, but if you use Singapore Airlines as an example, they've been delivering good service for many years, and it's known globally for not just its product but it's also service. So I guess you'd have to use that as a benchmark and see the areas that they do well and what you can do to sort of emulate some of that. Into your organisation, particularly in I guess the F&B and the service industry here. Yeah,
the F&B industry in Singapore, there's always that talk about whether they can recruit the high-quality individuals. That's been the issue. What you've observed from 2004 to now, what have you seen change, if anything?
Yeah, well, a lot. It's certainly evolved, and what I guess has happened as we're nearer to, 2020 is that there are a lot more people leaving the workforce, so employable population has and is decreasing. So what's actually happened over the last couple of years is we're entering a negative contraction. So there's actually more people leaving the workforce than actually entering the workforce. So that doesn't help.
Is this in F&B or everything?
Everything. So I'm talking about Singapore in general. So what that also means, I guess, it gives employers across the board, not just in F&B, but F&B is certainly one of the harder hits ones. From a labour perspective, it gives them also less people to choose from as well.
So when we talk about what your company does in terms of service jobs, are you working with like chefs or managers of restaurants, hotels? Tell us what exactly you do.
Yeah, absolutely. We're generally managers and above. So with the clients that we do work with, we're looking at whether it's hotels or F&B, it'll be sales managers, marketing managers, directors, general managers. So that's who we generally help our clients recruit.
And when we look at the people that you bring in compared to the local talent pool, what kind of outstanding qualities are you looking for?
That's a very good question. I guess if we bring it back down to the service level, it is about recruiting the right people, and I guess this is where your 5-star hotels and if we use Singapore Airlines as an example, their recruitment process is stringent. It is about finding that right individual that can serve, and a lot of that is the right attributes that person will bring to the service industry. So that's an important aspect when evaluating. And then next, once you actually find that right individual, is making sure that they're trained correctly. And I think this is where Look, it's tough. I know from an F&B perspective, they're short of staff, so it's a matter of, hiring in the morning and you're starting tonight kind of a thing. So, but there should be a balance there somewhere.
Yeah, look, around the time that I arrived in 2001 to now, I think we're seeing a lot more different foreigners working in service jobs in Singapore, like Filipinos, mainland Chinese. Has that helped the situation?
Well, it does. It alleviates some of the gaps from a labour perspective. Is that the only solution? Probably not, because obviously there are restrictions to the number of foreigners that you can employ.
I know that a lot of business owners have that problem, don't they, of getting the right number of people and keeping them here and all that.
Yeah, they do. And I guess that's probably the area that a lot of business owners, particularly in restaurants and F&Bs, focus on is not being able to employ more foreign talents. So there are certainly positive and negative aspects to that. If you're looking at the Filipinos, they've always sort of been synonymous with very good hospitality and very good service. But overall, I think the standard in Singapore, look, I think, as I said, that there's areas to improve upon, but it is. I think sometimes we as customers can probably also improve ourselves as well, because at the end of the day, I think customer service is about engagement and interaction between customers and also service staff. So I think as customers we can probably improve upon that as well. I do think,
but I guess we get frustrated, don't we, when we have bad service in Singapore and we curse and we're not getting the right food and our food's the wrong timing and all that.
Yeah, we probably do, and it's funny because if we sort of speak to people and say, okay, well, what region or what country you think does well, I think they'll probably say the Philippines and they'll probably say Thailand as well.
Yes, more service orientated people.
Service orientated, but I guess it's funny because we've probably also had that sort of experience with wrong food and that sort of stuff in those countries. But I think, we probably get somewhat disarmed by their natural warmth and smile. So little things like that can probably be adopted into the service culture here a little bit more as well. I do also think, in Singapore, the service charge model may not be as efficient or may not work as well. That's incentivizing, the delivery of good service.
Yeah, rather than the US model where it's a percentage for the tip and that kind of thing.
Although I do think that the US model is probably a little bit over the top in the sense, after dinner you've got to get the calculators out and you've got to actually punch that in.
Yeah, it's like 18%, 20%, 22%.
Yeah, I was just there recently. It's like, okay, it's constantly getting the calculator out, and if you're off by 1%, you get death stares, and I don't know, that's fantastic from a customer service point of view, and you may get good service, but once you actually get the bill, sweat start coming down like your forehead. But I think there's probably a model there somewhere in the middle, and I think Australia is one where it's not a set percentage, but the service there do work on tipping, and I think that's probably a better model and incentivize more for customer service.
With Andrew Chan, he's a hospitality industry expert, founder and CEO of ACI HR Solutions. Recently I was in India working over there, and as you know, the 5-star hotels are very lush and they've got great service. But I almost found it intrusive. I found it too much because every 5 minutes they're coming, are you enjoying your meal? How are you enjoying the service? What would you like to change? And you know what it's like, you're at a business trip and you're at a hotel and you just want to get down, read the paper and have your food, and you don't want to keep answering question after question. So that's going too far, don't you think?
I agree. I think it's a balance, and I agree with you because I was in India and I dropped a napkin and before it hit the ground, someone almost sort of scooped in and took a wicketkeeper's catch.
Yeah, that's too much, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably a little bit too much, and I think and that's probably where hiring the right people with the right EQ and training
is the key, isn't it?
It is. It's noticing what your customers want. There may be people that enjoy and want that sort of comfort, but there are those that don't necessarily need that. I think that there's probably somewhere in the middle. I don't want to be waving my arms or having to call out for my bill at the end of a meal either. But so I think it's just about being able to sort of scan the room and And that all comes with training.
You know, I did have one good experience. It was actually at the Courtyard Marriott in Mumbai, which isn't really a plush hotel, but the guy knew me. He knew my drink. Every day I like to have a soy mocha extra hot. And every time I came down, he'd have the drink there for me, which I thought was great service because he remembered, you know, I was there for about 10 days or something. The drink was always there.
I agree, and you know what? Sometimes it isn't about the 5-star hotels or the 5-star airlines, and you know, and I guess I've got a similar example. Mine's even, I guess, you know, lower than that. Mine's is McDonald's at Great World City. There's a fantastic auntie that knows me that has my coffee.
Just knows what you want.
Exactly.
That's good service,
that has my coffee ready when, you know, before I even reach there. She sees me coming and it's ready.
And when you drop the napkin, she's there at the floor.
Yeah. Not quite.
But you know, when we compare the way things are in Sydney, which is, you know, where you and I were born, and Hong Kong, where we have connections as well. You know, when we look at some of the challenges that Sydney has when the high cost of labour compared to, say, Singapore or Hong Kong.
Absolutely, because I guess Australia's minimum wage, you know, it's the cost of labour there is probably double that, if not a little bit more than Singapore. So that's also you know, very difficult as well.
True story here. My friend was covering a match at the Sydney Football Stadium while his 18-year-old daughter was working in hospitality at the Sydney Football Stadium. She got paid more than him. He's 50 years old. She's 18 years old. That shows you how, I think she got like $300 or $400.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably with, you know, extra time, overtime, and double time on, you know, public holidays and weekends and so forth.
Yeah, it was a Sunday. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. I mean, with models like that, it does work, and
that's why restaurants are closing at 9 o'clock rather than open till 11, right?
Absolutely, because they also can't sustain you know, a model like that either.
What about Hong Kong? We mentioned Hong Kong. I mean, the Cha Chan Teng, where they scold you and you have to get out within like 2 minutes of finishing your meal. That's another extreme, isn't it?
Yeah, when you get scolded after a meal, but there's almost, you know, you almost expect that, and you almost leave with a bit of a smile, and you know, if you don't get scolded, you get a little bit upset. You know, I guess that goes down to to culture as well. But you know, Hong Kong's a highly efficient market. You know, they've got to get you out there for the next lot of people to go in. So
what's the way forward for you here in Singapore, as the founder and CEO of ACI HR Solutions, recruitment for high-end, I guess, hospitality here?
We certainly, I mean, as a result of the recruitment and executive search business, and over the years, we do see a lot of gaps, you know, in the industry, particularly in the hospitality industry, and not only looking to plug those gaps from a recruitment side, but you know, here we are talking about customer service and training, and that's exactly what we've done. So we've actually established an academy, a training academy. So we've just launched ACI Academy recently, where we are looking to plug some of those training gaps and training needs, because over the years we see candidates, we see clients, and they sort of tell us, you know, what the skill gaps are, and we've taken a lot of that on board, and we've put together some pretty cool training programs. You know, customer service is one of those, complaint handling, revenue management, sales, and we've put that together, and we've just launched that recently, and that involves getting one of the major hotel groups, independent hotel groups, on board with us.
Oh, that's exciting.
It is. Thank you.
And how do we find out more about that, and if we want to connect with you?
Jump on our website, www.acihr.com.
All right. Andrew Chan, hospitality industry expert, founder and CEO of ACI HR Solutions. Many thanks for joining us here on Weekend Mornings.
It's been fun, Jason. Cheers.